Hey, what's up guys? This is Renketsu0, continuing Zaffar Nassar's episode, or chapter, of Let's Play Heavily Modded Skyrim. And you may be wondering why I'm back at the character creation screen. This is for a couple of reasons. One, which I really like, kind of a good reason, is the enhanced character edit mod, which I'm using now. This adds a ton of new features to character creation to really help you fine-tune your character. So I could get them to look a little bit more like me than before. The other though, kind of the bad reason, is that I've gone through a huge update, like I said before, adding and removing a lot of mods. I just picked up HearthFire and Dragonborn, as well as a number of mods to supplement those. So my previous save file just wouldn't work. It's really not safe to try and carry them over. But the good news is that I won't be starting all the way over. I'm just redoing my character, and I will basically level him back to where he was before through either console commands or the Levelers Tower. But all I'm doing is just making the finishing touches on its appearance like before. Eye color, war paint. If you weren't here the last time, this guy is Zaffar Nassar. He is designed to look as close to me as possible, my appearance in real life as possible. So I'm going for some dark brown eyes, but if I see something exotic that I really like, I might stop there. Kind of like this 124 looks pretty cool. It's like a mix of brown and green. 125 is a pretty dark, looks like a dark olive green. 126 is a dark brown. It's a bit lighter. I like how so many of these different eyes have like different dimensions to them. They kind of change color as you change the camera angle. Yeah, I'm actually thinking I'll just go with this 124. It's green and brown. Those are actually my favorite eye colors. Do have a little prejudice there. Alright, so moving on to the war paint. I might not pick the same war paint as I had last time, but that's okay. It's not gonna be the end of the world. I'm looking for something kind of minimalist, not too showy. Something that's not all over his face, just kind of a small accent. I think these are all vanilla war paints, and I'm not very interested in vanilla war paints, so I'm going to skip down a little bit. There we go, Tyrant Soul. Now I am in the female section, but really I don't care about the female label as long as it doesn't look obviously feminine. I might use it on a male character. Something like this, the bamboo, or actually I don't know what that is, but definitely a type of leaf. I might put that on a male character. With like butterflies and flowers, nah. Something like this looks alright. I'm gonna keep going down though. I actually liked the last war paint that I used for him, and if I see it, I'll probably just toss that back on him. I think I have a couple of new war paints though, so who knows. Yeah, I think I was using something like this. By the way, if the character creation or configuration doesn't interest you, you can feel free to skip over the video. That looks pretty cool. Tyrant Soul Male. Actually kind of like a lot of the war paints that just go over one eye, something like that. And I think this is the one I had before. Pretty sure actually I had this either on the first or the second time I chose my war paint. Alright, so just making sure I didn't miss anything. Yep, so go ahead and name him Zaffar Nassar. Feel free to look up that name if you want. It's got kind of a cool background. Now I am using the alternate random start mod. I like this one a lot more than the Live Another Life alternate start mod. This one actually places you at random in Skyrim at one of over 460 locations. Some of them are hostile, and you're gonna kind of occasionally get dropped in the middle of a Forsworn camp with like level 20 Forsworns, and you're this level 1, and you're pretty much gonna have to run for your life if you have any hope to escape. Like I said, this guy is a mage assassin, a vampire mage assassin, so I'll choose the Nightblade kit. That's another feature of this this mod. You can start with a random kit. I mean, not a random kit, but a kit instead of just the default you know, clothes. And let's see where it drops me. If it's hostile, I will have to run for my life. But if not, then I can just go straight to configuration. I'm actually kind of hoping for a hostile area. Something really thrilling about just not knowing where you are and suddenly being forced to run for your life. And actually, if I die, the cool thing about it is if I die shortly after they drop me into Skyrim, they're gonna respawn me somewhere else. So it may be a non-hostile place. I won't have to go back through character creation. And actually, it turns out a lot of these, just gonna sneak. A lot of these, they actually drop you near the exit, so you don't have to fight or go through the dungeon if you don't want to. Alright, so this may be a mistake, but I'm gonna go out to Skyrim. Slightly better scenery for doing my configuration, but again, it may be a mistake. I might go out here and get killed by maybe some patrols. I still don't know where I'm at. I should have checked to see where they put me before I walked outside. But it's whatever. If I die, I can get spawned in at another random location and just do the configuration there. The loading screens are still going to be pretty long because I'm using an ENB and I'm using a lot of texture replacers. My graphics card isn't top of the line. Oh, they put me in a fort, and that looks like a bandit, so I'm gonna just try and run out of here.
Is someone there? Hear something?
Yeah. Hopefully I have enough stamina. Oh yeah, as a raid guard I've got a initial stamina bonus, so I should be able to run pretty far before running out. If you weren't here before or not familiar with Skyrim Redone, when you're low on stamina, you actually run pretty slow. It reduces your speed, your movement speed. Alright, good. So I'm far enough to fast travel to Riverwood. I'll do my configuration here. Sometimes situations like that, I think actually if I didn't have the extra stamina, I wouldn't have been able to get away. Because this is a huge movement speed debuff, like maybe 20 to 30%. Almost looks like you're walking when your stamina bar is empty. Like your regular running speed is more like walking. So again, if configuration doesn't interest you, you can go ahead and skip to the next video. But I figured I'd leave it in because some of you may be playing with similar mods and you actually want the configuration. This is not the nice scenery I wanted. But whatever. So I'm gonna go to the mod configuration menu. This character will be a vampire, so I will have to configure better vampires. I'll explain a few of my choices. Easier ranks, because I'm not going to be spending a ton of time on every playthrough, so I want the ranks to be a little bit quicker. I use advanced feeding, that lets you feed off of recently killed enemies. Hunger effects abilities, never hate it. Exempted stage 1 because I don't want to be weak to sun damage all the time. I turn this off because it lets you instant kill people and that makes it a little too easy. I like to encounter a random number of hunters, vampire hunters. Penalties enforced, regen in low light, appearance changes. Now I keep this on normal effectiveness. If you turn it off, you don't heal at all from potions, restoration, and food, but I keep it on. I don't use restoration because it's against my idea of the vampire lore, but I do use the potions because it's really hard surviving on just blood. And also because the potions, if you turn off potions, it turns off all potions, not just healing. So I wouldn't be able to benefit from, say, a fortified one-handed potion. I turn the combat bonuses off because the weapon speed increase actually conflicts with Skyrim Redone. Fun fact, I've made a mod called Attack Speed Mod that fixes this. As long as the mod author is willing to convert his mod to the attack speed mod standard. So they can be compatible. I did message him about it, but he never got back to me. So for now I just have to leave it off. I take off reveal auras because this spell is so almost omniscient. You just never ever get snuck up on. And take off Fear's Embrace because it does make the game pretty easy. You can paralyze anybody that you sneak up on, which I feel is really just a little bit too powerful. Anything else I turn off? Don't think so. And then I will reset Sanguinaire Vampiris. That basically just makes me a vampire automatically. Gonna wait for that to kick in. And again, I won't be starting from scratch. In the next video I should basically have all of my previous skills and all the gear that I had from the former playthrough. Next is Bounty Gold. This mod is fantastic. It lets you configure how much gold you get from the Radiant quest. It was so horrible in vanilla. 100 gold for everything, like they weren't even worth it. I start out bandits at 1000 with 200 per level scaling. Basically, I had a kind of an idea in my head that at around level 20 I wanted to get about 5,000 gold for a bandit run or a forest swarm run, so that's where that number came from. And then dragons start at 2,000 and scale 400 per level because they're very difficult to beat with the settings that I'm using. Giants I start at 2,000 and scale at 100 because they're actually very hard to kill at low levels, but they're really easy a little bit further down the line. So that's the reason for the lower scaling. I use multi-tap because I'm on a controller and it's required for controller convenient horses. Followers I leave off for now. I do turn it on later after I see the guy at the Whiterun stables to turn off ultimate follower overhauls horses. Deadly dragons, I bump the attributes up by 50%, as well as the melee damage and the magic damage. Dragons really just didn't hit hard enough for my taste in vanilla. And I turn on less flying because, you know, some of the melee characters are just going to be sitting there yawning, looking at the dragon flying in the air. It's really boring. I don't use the assault timer, but I may in the future. That basically adds an additional dragon timer. I reduce the weight of the bones and the scales by 5 because they really just weigh a little bit too much, in my opinion, in vanilla. I don't do anything with dual sheath redux. Immersive HUD, nothing there. I turn off stealth and enemy health, and I hide the shout meter with the compass. I basically want as few user interface elements as possible while I fight, with the exception of magicka, health, and stamina, because I still kind of need to see those. As in taverns, I use the default settings. Locational damage. Love this mod. You can get auxiliary effects based on where you hit your enemy. This also applies to the player. I turn off the magic modules because I think magic already, most of the spells already have their built-in kind of dynamic effects. Just to be on the safe side, I turn specifically all of those off as well. For the settings, I exclude heavy helmets to give heavy armor a little bit more of a bonus. It does kind of make sense. It's a thicker helmet. It should be a little more protective than light helmets. Now, lock overhaul. Here I enable auto lock picking in case you do want to automatically pick locks, but I boost the skill requirement for it about 10 points every way. Smash locks, I use this a lot. I drop everything to 20, 40, 60, 80 because in my opinion it should be easier to smash a lock than it is to open it. But this doesn't make it broken because thief characters will still need this because the smashing of the lock actually makes noise. It makes a fair amount of noise. So if you want to open stuff stealthily, you'll still need the lock pick skill. For everything else, there's smashing. I buffed this up. I'm not exactly sure if this increases the sound that NPCs hear, but if it does, that's what I'm going for. Predator vision. I boost this to 100% on both ends, and I take the color boost down to, this is an additional 50% color. It's still kind of annoying. Still kind of annoying to see, but I think it should be a little different. For Sky UI, I turn off the active effects HUD. I don't like seeing how long I have left on my spells. I turned this off specifically for the Warbugs map, or I think it's Warbird. His map conflicts with that. For Dance of Death, I turn off the perk restriction system. I keep this on, the last enemy restriction, because sometimes you do a kill move and then immediately afterward somebody was already in their attacking animation against you and it forces you to get hit. Now trade and barter I'm going to wait for until after I do Economics of Skyrim. Economics of Skyrim gives you regional values as well as the ability to pay blacksmiths to make armor for you, as well as to pay castle wizards to make enchanted gear for you. I really like that a lot. If you want, you know, it didn't make sense that you couldn't get anybody to enchant gear for you, that you just had to be an enchanter to have enchanted gear. So I still use Economics of Skyrim. I use it in conjunction with trade and barter, because trade and barter gives you this really fine-tuned control over the prices of everything. Once this is done, I'll get a message. Should be coming up soon. Alright, there we go. I'm going to enable regional values. Basically, prices are different depending on where you are. Largely dependent on how much of that particular material is available in the region. I take so let me go back. I put the extra gold on 0 because I let trade and barter handle that. Merchant difficulty, I take the max to 13. Barter max to 13, that's the most things can cost. And I take the barter min up to 10. Now what this does is it actually by itself it makes your purchase prices way more expensive and your sell prices a lot less. So it makes it more difficult to make money. By default, I would not tolerate those values at all. But trade and barter allows you to adjust the buying and selling prices independently. And I really like that feature. So what I do is I basically make my sell prices lower and I keep my buy prices kind of reasonable. And that's what that really does. So I go down here and I take the buy prices down to minus 40% so that I actually feel like buying something. On my previous playthroughs, I was just using Economics of Skyrim. I didn't want to buy anything ever. Like I just always just left it up to me to find stuff in the wild or loot stuff off of people. It also gives you these other options, such as getting better prices if you're a Thane, faction member, faction leader, better prices based on your relationship. I leave most of these, actually all of these, default. You can also have higher buying and selling prices in cities because they're more, you know, merchant centric. I leave those default. I also leave the race relations default. Yes, racism is an ugly thing, but it is a fact of life in Skyrim. People do like to discriminate based on, you know, your race's default prejudice against theirs. I boost the cost to invest by 5,000. I probably won't use that on this playthrough. I enable merchant gold fluctuating. This allows them to have a different amount of gold every time that you actually show up. And I keep low variability here. Basically merchants that are in cities will have more gold than merchants in rural areas. Makes sense, less business, less gold. And that's the end of my configuration. So I know you can't see my guy. I do have a torch though. Can't really see him too well, but that is the end of configuration. I will see you next time with all of my gear, all of my skills, and most of my quests back to where they were. So I hope you enjoy, hope you stick around, Have fun modding.